I'm reading Evie, and I am here to talk about Dark Side of the Moon by Sherrilyn Kenyon. It is number, I don't know. Don't ask me what number it is. I can tell you it was 1995, but not for me. Susan Michaels was once the hottest reporter on the Beltway beat. Until a major scandal ruined her life and left her writing stories about alien babies and Elvis sightings. Life as she once knew it is over, or so she thinks. But then she gets a lead on a story that can salvage her esteemed career. She heads to the local animal shelter, expecting a hot news tip, which she gets in the form of a major police cover-up. For a ring of soul-sucking vampires out to take over Seattle, so much for saving her credibility. And if that isn't bad enough, she gets talked into adopting a cat and finds she's allergic to it. A cat that turns out to be a shapeshifter who claims to be an immortal vampire slayer on the prowl for the same corrupt cops. Her first thought, seek professional help. But as Susan's drawn into Raven's dark and dangerous world, she comes to realize that there's a lot more at stake than just her defunct career. Now it's no longer a question of bringing the truth to her readers. It's a matter of saving their very lives and souls. Raven's life was shattered over 400 years ago when he mistakenly trusted the wrong human with the truth of his existence. He lost his family, his honor, and his life. Now, in order to save the people of Seattle, he's forced to confront that nightmare all over again, and to trust another woman with the secret that could destroy him. In the world of the Dark Hunters, life is always dangerous, but never more so than now, when a very human woman can shatter their entire world with just one story. The only question is, will she? I always feel like I'm reading a book when I'm reading her plots. Compared to the Haunting Danielle, that's like one sentence. It's like, it's a whole story. She referenced her own book as Susan's boss. He was stating a ridiculous idea for an article, and it said, a Greek god who's been cursed to live as a set slave to women, but starts out with a kiss to your boss this time. Yes, so that's just fantasy lover. So, yeah, whatever. Interesting, this takes place in Seattle instead of New Orleans. The only time this had happened was in Night of Darkness, but that was before New Orleans even existed. That and Sword of Darkness. There were sequels. Well, one was a sequel to each other. But yeah, it's weird. First one outside of New Orleans. But there's a reason for that, as this takes place in 2006. If you know, you knew. It's when Katrina happened, so that's probably why. Maybe. Leo, Susan's boss, is a part of the Dark Hunter world, sorta. He's still a human, but helps keep it all a secret from the other humans. Something about the Squire, team or whatever. He wasn't a Squire, but I can't remember what they call themselves. I forgot to write that down, my bad. Aw, Angie and Jimmy are dead, Susan's friends. It was the only friends she had left. And the only family, well, not biological family, but the only family she had left. And so they seemed like good people. They're married to each other, and that was sad. Leo is in debt with someone named Tad, and that's why he involves Susan in this whole thing. What do you think? There's something about owing somebody, and so he had her go check something out instead. I forgot Dark Hunters were forbidden to date long term. I can't imagine why I forgot such a thing, as we have a whole series of Dark Hunters falling in love. Otto is in Seattle for some reason. I wonder why. He was Valerius' squire. They did mention Katrina though, so maybe that's why. I'll be honest, I forgot Katrina happened in 2006, so at that point, I just couldn't really, or I didn't really know why he was in Seattle. So I'm guessing that was why. They sent everyone out for safety, and some stayed behind, but Otto was not one of those people. Raven stood up to his family, finally. Good riddance. His family was still alive. and they were trash. As most families are in these books. She really does have like some kind of parent complex. Hopefully not her real parents. I don't know anything about her personal life, so I don't Google authors' personal lives or anything about them. I know nothing. Blank slate. I don't even know I actually do know what she looks like now. Only because of this. So, and I'll forget. Other than that, I don't know anything. Savitar wants Raven to train Nick. Because he doesn't want to. So now he's doing it. Stryker is now telling Kale, that there's a way to save his wife, and Apollonie, who dies at 27. He rejected the offer now because he'd have to join his army against Ash and Artemis. I doubt that'll be the case for long. Nick's funny attitude is gone. I hope he comes back from his mom's death. Doesn't seem like he's going to. I miss Nick. And then Nick found out about Katrina. Because when he was with Stryker, he didn't really have a real sense of time. So he didn't know he was out for like 2 years, I think. Yeah. I think it was like 2 years. So, didn't keep up with the, world events. And boy, was he pissed. He went off on Ash about it. Which I did not write down. Oh. But yeah, he basically just ruined everything and went after Ash at the club that they were all staying at, the Sanctuary, a sanctuary in Seattle, ran by Raven's family, so that's why he went there, even though they didn't like Raven, but oh well, and Raven doesn't like them anymore, obviously. Anywho, Nick basically blamed Ash for Katrina, somehow. Why he thought he could stop a natural event, I don't know. Maybe he can. So I guess he probably could have, but most of them who can see the future will tell you that's not a good idea to mess with the future. Especially something like that big. That would mess with the fates and all that. So, whatever. But Nick was not hearing any of that. Oh well. Poor Susan had tried committing suicide in the past, but thankfully came to her senses. And is clearly still alive. Susan and Raven mated. Yay. Apparently he was not allowed to mate, technically. Or wasn't supposed to, because he was a Dark Hunter, so. And also, did it say what he was? Katagari, I think he is? Or maybe he's the other one. I don't remember what the other one was. Oh well. Because he's also a leopard / cat, basically. I think he could control what size he is. Because at one point he was just like a house cat. And then was a leopard, so I don't know. Whatever. The chief of police, Paul, had a daemon for a wife, and Raven had killed her, as was his job. So now Now Paul is plotting against him. That's what I get for trying to read ahead. Paul went to Kale, Cael, to get Raven's location. Kale is also a Dark Hunter, by the way. To get Raven's location and was going to attack his wife, but ended up getting Carrie instead, the wife's sister. Amaranda, by the way, is the wife's name. Well, a fight broke out, and Amaranda accidentally made herself into a daemon. She didn't think when she went to kill one of Paul's sons, because it was him and his two sons, whatever names they are. They were also both daemon. So, she didn't think of it when she went to kill one of him. She was angry and hurt as she just saw Kale stabbed and was dying. So, understandable. And then she was like, crap. She's like, because she was supposed to be dying as well, and then she healed because she turned into a daemon. I think it's Damon is how it's pronounced, but I don't know. I don't know. Anyway, she gave him the Damon's blood, though, and now his eyes are an unnatural shade of amber with black streaks running through them. I don't know what that means. I don't know if that makes him a Damon. If that's what the Damons look like. But, whatever. Basically, it said that she cursed them both to hell. So I'm guessing Damon. He lived. She felt bad. A scene reminded me of Talon and Sunshine. Raven said Susan. Oh, yeah. Raven just said, like, Susan something. Susan said, "Don't Susan me, you're not my father. No, I'm your mate. Not until we do the deed, bud. And we haven't, and if you keep this up, we're not going to." Reminded me of Talon saying, "I'm your husband." Whereas Sunshine said, "Not in this lifetime, buddy." And, like, held her hand up and was like, "Not in this lifetime," as there's, like, no ring. I wonder if she took inspiration from that scene. I thought it was funny. It was one of the few scenes that stood out in Talon's stories, so. I miss them. They haven't been mentioned in a while. Wonder what's happening with Sunshine. Oh. Stryker ended up killing Paul because Paul stabbed his second in command in the back, saving Susan and Raven as they were in his home, and Paul tried burning Raven. Susan managed burning his last living son. Haha. That's what you get, Paul. But yeah, Stryker was not happy. They were having a deal, and so Paul stabbed the second in command, whatever his name was. Trait, maybe, or something like that. Anyways. And then, so that broke that deal. And Paul was like, "We had a deal." Stryker was like, "Forget you." And killed him. So, very brutally. I don't remember how, but even Susan, like, felt sorry for him. It's like, oh, okay. Susan and Raven had broken into Paul's house to confront him and basically kill him, maybe, or just fight with him and see what happens. Unfortunately, Paul and the Sons got the upper hand because they didn't realize that there were going to be more demons that, like, went through a bolt hole is what they call it. Basically, if you've seen Flash, think of, it reminded me of Cisco, just like, boom, and then boom. Thanks. Nick made a deal with Savitar and drank his blood so he could kill Ash. Now he has swirling silver eyes like Ash and Stryker. Now he's a part of Stryker's team. Why? As somebody who read Chronicles of Nick first, this just makes me really sad. Really depressed. I'm looking forward to what has happened next. Hopefully Nick will be mentioned. Unfortunately, not in this one. Unfortunately, he won't be mentioned in this one as it's the Dream Hunter. And it's about a totally different world. Well, it's not totally different. It's the same world as Dark Hunters, but now it's about Dream Hunters. So, I guess maybe she needed a break. I want to know more about Nick and the Dark Hunters. And the war that Stryker is trying to plan. But this is a good book so far. As you can see, I'm almost halfway through. Not quite halfway yet. Maybe. But, oh well. R.I.P. the Nick we knew. But let me know what you thought of Dark Side of the Moon. And, yeah. Let me know. Bye.